Jason, glad to hear you got the package. Thank goodness for that. I was starting to get a little bit fretty if I didn't hear today that you got it, because obviously tomorrow's Friday and I know you're leaving shortly on the 11th or whatever it was. So glad to hear it. Alright, I just got this morning, 1466 820 00165. Apparently doesn't charge. Been to a couple of other stores apparently and no luck. Stupid bastards put these goddamn useless stickers on it. Oh, don't undo the sticker, else you'll void the warranty. So really, they're just making the poor MacBook look ugly. Actually, that's not true. That 1466s are pretty nice, so I can't really say uglier. But it's like, why did they bother with this stuff? Putting even on the flippin' display connector, that can actually cause troubles, because when you peel it off, or when you disconnect the connector, you're going to be left with some paper residues, and they can easily get jammed back into the connector. So I don't know why they bother with it. If you're going to do something, holy damn, they've replaced the keyboard too, or something. This is going to be fun. By the way, new mouse. This is Logitech M190. It seems to work, no stuttering yet. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I want to get this out. That's what I wanted out. 1643. And what I will do is, come here. So I've left the keyboard backlight disconnected. Fair enough, that's understandable. Yeah, 165 board. Tell very quickly because it's got the short J tag. I know it's not a J tag, don't you? Get all pissy about it, people. We just refer to it just through a common nomenclature. I'm just going to see what it is doing with the battery, and then I'll check one of my own, hopefully known good working ones. Okay, charge port on. So we get MagSafe color, spin up. It's probably going to be something like an SMC issue. Okay, why won't my USB stick go in? That's a little unusual. It's doing something. 850 is higher than it should be, so either it's shorted out somewhere for like an extra 250 milliamps, which is entirely possible. It's very consistent though. Hey Greg, had to get your data off a 120 gig Kingston. Shade up as raw. How'd you get the data off? It was raw, or did it just simply lose its partition information? Okay, let's drop back down to 600, which is more normal. Yeah, we'll just wait for it. Yeah, we definitely don't have a battery icon showing up. Hey Jim. I've got a data recovery job. Well, it's actually the reverse. I've got the data now, got to put it onto a new drive. So I've got one of these 500 gig Western Digital Blues. It's for an old Toshiba C660. Alright, so we're definitely not showing anything at all for battery, it seems. Yeah, fair enough. Shut down. I just wanted to verify that, make sure it wasn't something else stupid. I'll try one of my known good batteries as soon as I can find one. Where did I put them? Oh, well done, Mr. Daniels, well done. You have misplaced your 1466. Known good. Normally I have many stacks of those around the place. Okay, you're a known not good. Pedro, what the hell are you doing here? You should be out chasing old ladies. So it looks like we've got a quiescent 40-50 milliamp current. That's interesting. So it's bleeding somewhere. Hey there, Serge. What's this? Packing some to send to you now, back in 2 weeks. So if the 16 inches done, the client may be happy. Oh, you're sending more machines, okay. Huzzah! More interesting stuff. Okay, so we take that battery, we'll plug this one in, see if we get any transition of anything. Nada. Yeah, that doesn't look promising. Alright, okay. So my guess is we've either got an imbalance on the I2C lines. Well, that's probably what we got. So we're just going to take the logic board out completely. Which is, where did my glasses go? Ah, on my chest. Hey Lexi, oh, you're working on a 1707. What's wrong with your 1707? Ach, niemand. And I left the shroud off for the cooling. At least I got the right screw in there. That's good. So yeah, I'm thinking either SMC or maybe the ISL. I'm assuming they would have tried to replace the ISL. The fuckwits just killed the goddamn Wi-Fi cable. Why can these people not do even simple things? Really, this is the crap that I've got to deal with. This is the crap that you deal with, like if you're trying to be a good technician and you see all these other people who sprout all their greatness about, oh, I'm the best, and all this sort of stuff, and they do shit like this. I'm sorry, I shouldn't swear, I apologize, but yeah, they've just ruined the Wi-Fi basically. They've crushed the second cable there, and it's not even the right screw in there. Fucking hell. I think it's more frustrating because I see these sort of people out there doing their sales pitch and pontificating about how great they are, and with their 2 weeks experience or whatever. And they make fundamental errors like that. It's not that they may not have the technical understanding or anything, but just that they don't have the fundamental care. They don't take the time to do this sort of thing right. It's like, it's not a hard thing to put the Wi-Fi cable back in correctly and not wreck it by screwing down on it. And most of the time, the other thing that bothers me, of course, or frustrates me, is that most of the time these people are taking jobs that would have otherwise perhaps maybe ended up here. Not likely, because I'm too expensive. But they still end up here anyway, after they've already drained the money from the people, and then the people I hear, can you give me a discount? I've already spent so much money on trying to get this repaired. And it's like, hell no, I should actually charge you more. Charge you more as a penalty for thinking you can cheap out. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's not really the customer's fault. It's not an area that they're normally used to engaging with. It's just typical salesman bullshit. Like on a lot of the Facebook forums, I just roll my eyes. Something so hard with all the crazy claims that people make. Yeah, they take something simple that they've done and they try to blow it into this I've walked on water type thing. That's like, I'm so sick of seeing that. Just like people are sick of hearing me complain. It just sort of gets on my nerves when you see fundamental faults like that. I mean, it's one thing to not know how to fix a board. I mean, that's fine. I mean, geez, there's plenty I don't know how to fix. But to actually wreck it through your own carelessness on something that's so simple not to wreck it on, that's where it gets annoying. I'm going to go with an ISL issue. SMC most likely. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the I2C lines between the battery and here. Hey, Rodrigo. They're miles exactly. They just rush it through, and if the customer does mention something, say, hey, my Wi-Fi doesn't work as well as it used to, they're going to blame it on something else. Like, oh, maybe you did something wrong or whatever. They're not going to take the blame for it. Certainly taking the blame for the mistakes you have is a very difficult thing, but you kind of have to do it. Unless you're in another country like, I don't know, the United States, where you can just, it's the culture to blame everyone else. That's how you keep score. Yeah, they'll pull Steve Jobs holding it wrong, yeah. I think also what irritates me is that I know I lose quite a few clients. They just sort of go quiet on me because they find cheaper people who will do the job cheaper. But I also know that they're going to get this sort of outcome. But and then they don't bother coming back afterwards most of the time. Like I said, you could say that's a business problem on my end, which it is. But I would rather spend my time working on the software than undercutting what I feel like is the proper cost for this sort of work. So that's the other problem is, there's already so many people running to the bottom of the barrel on the costs. And it really doesn't help anybody, because when you drag it down to the bottom, you just destroy the industry. You need to have a responsible level of profitability in order to make sure that shops are properly equipped, properly trained, and can stay open, pay their taxes, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's I'll test the resistances on the current sense too, though I don't think that's going to be it. Rossman in the park. Yeah. Hey Moretto, good to see you. So what have we got there? 3, that's about right. 20, that's about right. That's about right, isn't it? 20? Or is it meant to be 12? Pretty sure it's meant to be 20. Hey Def, I call this an unholy time. Oh no, it is 20, yeah. 10 and 10 and a shunt. Hey there, Jim Allen. See, I made a stream just so you and Warren could actually attend. Okay, so we're going to do the the I2C lines. That's what all this is here. So up here you can see the battery. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure these here and see which one's off. Battery is disconnected, so it's obviously not going to influence matters, but we will check the connector. So R38, well, 5381. The mouse is definitely working better. So get ourselves a diode mode. We want. Yeah, okay. We already straight away found the fault. That line should not be shorted to ground. Assuming I'm actually on the right line, I'm pretty sure I am. Quad display, so that's the clock line and that's the data line, so they should be roughly 0.5 apiece. Okay, so that one's 0.5, that's what you expect, but that one's shorted to ground. So the question is, who's shorting it to ground? It's either going to be the ISL or the SMC. Now likely it's going to be the SMC, but we'll try the ISL. To be fair, they haven't changed it. They have not changed that ISL that I can tell. That's kind of hilarious. I really thought they would have. I'm really hoping it's not going to be the SMC, simply because I don't feel like dealing with an SMC. Although we would get to demonstrate Moretto's very awesome SMC tool, because I don't have any 165 SMCs on hand, but I do have 3437s. So we'll be able to demonstrate that thanks to the tool that he created, we can take a 3437, load it up on here, and then reflash it for a 165. Very handy. Definitely worth the price you pay for it too. Yeah, you know what he does. Sorry. Alright, there we go, Moretto. You've got unwanted responsibility now. I like not having mods, to be honest, as in when I go to other people's channels, I like not to be a mod. Looks like power's gone to his head already. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted. Hey, drop tip. Okay, let's see how we go now. And as predicted, it is not the ISL. That sucks. That is correct that that's gone up to 0.63 because we have taken a device off the bus. It effectively increases the resistance due to the lack of one extra parallel item. I mean, it may not be the SMC. We'll check the connector. Because, yeah, the connectors got the lines on them too. I'm not going gym cam, we don't need to. Sorry. And nothing obvious on that connector. We'll have a quick look, see if there are any other items. There are other items on this bus. Okay, we've got 6950, it could be that. Except it's not there, damn it. So we basically got the battery connector, the pull-up resistor, the SMC, the ISL, and the non-existent diode. That diode I think was actually meant to be, yep it is, it's a protection diode. But it's a no stuff. So they decided we don't need to protect the bus, the SMC can take the hit. So, oh, Harold's here. G'day, Harold. I was thinking about you the other night. Trying to think what for now, but I was. I just wish I could remember what for. Oh, I think I need to order those USB-C things. I was thinking I was getting slack, which is true, I am. Alright, so here we go. And yes, I am aware that that resistor up there has got junk on it, and I will clear that up. Hey Christine Joy. I figured you were more of a daytime person. This is certainly not my normal behavior here. Don't get stuck on there. At least the edge bonding has been nice to us today and actually coming off properly. Let's go to the full microscope view. There we go. I'm just going to flick this thing off. Alright, let's check that diode mode again and see if it's changed. Lo and behold, we are finally now at a normal diode mode. So yeah, that, and notice they're both equivalent now, they're both 1.8. So yeah, that pin, whichever one it was hard shorted to ground. So yeah, as I expected, the ISL was okay, but we will replace the ISL anyway. Just simply, yeah, got plenty of them. And you never know, something else might be wrong with the ISL, so best just to replace it. But now we've got to get ourselves an SMC and reball it and all the other stuff. Joy, joy, joy. Fun and games. Where's my solder? There it is. Trackpad is not on the same SM bus on this one. At least I'm pretty damn sure it's not. Oops. Let's see, I2C lines. Yeah, trackpad's on its own set. That's on Thunderbolt temperature sensing, whereas battery is on their own set. But yeah, I wasn't able to use the Legato stuff for my setup because I'm using Linux, and while there is limited support from third parties, I found Blackmagic at least supported the cameras directly. Hopefully there's no damage to the traces here. Ooh, that's getting hot. Oh, why? That's getting quite hot on me there. Alright, we're good. We got them all flat. That's good. Give it a quick covering of fresh flux so that it doesn't corrode or oxidize rather. And now we're going to go on the great search for another SMC to replace that one with. Ah, found one. And of course it is a 3437 unfortunately. So yeah, 3437 board. But it does have an SMC. Let's just hope this SMC works. Quite annoying if it's also dead. It's actually been a week or so since I've done an SMC. I might be out of practice. Been mostly doing CD3215s, and they're substantially easier than an SMC. Alright, let's get some flux under that, protect it. By the way, the new version of Flexboard View coming out will be a little bit more difficult to pirate. I mean, it will happen, it's inevitable, but it will be a little bit trickier. why it's taken me a fair bit of time to actually get it released, as I'm working on new things. Make sure this one doesn't have any delamination going on. It looks like there's something down here. Yeah, it's okay. If you see delaminations occurring in any chip like this, then just throw it away. Don't try and revive it. It might work momentarily, and basically until it gets back to the customer, and then it will die. Okay, so now the next great difficulty that we have to conquer is finding all my SMC bits and pieces. Okay, looks like I found the holder, so that's a good start. Now the delamination, you will see it as sort of like on SMCs anyway, these ones, you'll see it as sort of a golden appearance of like golden flake underneath the top layer there. Hopefully this doesn't have any delaminate, but you usually don't see it until you sort of run this phase of the process over. Basically what it indicates is that liquid or something got in between the layers, and it's naturally, of course, once that happens you can't really trust it. This one looks okay, nothing's jumping out. It does show up very distinctly when there's flux or alcohol on there. You'll see around here that the traces seem to show up a lot brighter, but fuzzy. I don't want to do a hardware solution for the flex board view. It's just not worth it. Like I said, I mean, piracy is inevitable. It's more a case of you're just simply trying to stop casual piracy. For the most part, it's usually well-meaning people, but you know, when you sort of like got a choice between $147 for something versus free, and you say to yourself, I just need to use it for this one job or maybe in the next job, and then 6 months later you're still using it and you haven't paid for it. And that's just how it happens. It's not because you're explicitly trying to be malicious and steal, it just sort of, the convenience is too great. So that's what you try to do, is you try to make that less convenient. I mean, yeah, there is open board view, which is free, but yeah, people do want the refinement and the extra features that FlexBoard View offers, which is why it's a commercial product. Make it ad supported? Oh hell no, never going to do that. That's not, no. There's no problem with the marketing cost or anything like that. It's just a case of, like I said, it's people, yeah. It doesn't matter what you come up with, people are still going to end up pirating it one way or another. It's just a case of bringing it down to certain levels that you're happy with. And what you're happy with really is an individual thing. You know, different developers have different thresholds of what they consider to be an acceptable level of piracy. The other thing is that if people are going to use board view software, I'd rather they use a pirated version of mine than someone else's, because at least then they eventually get hooked. Yeah, Jim, I just paid about $400 for sign-in certificates. And that's only going to last 12 months. Alright, so what we've got to do here is we've got to put a ball in each corner. And that will hold the stencil for us. And then we can pour a lot more on there and do the reflow. I've actually got this stencil upside down, so I better turn it around. Oh, I shouldn't say stencil, I've got the holder upside down. So that's one. And that's the other. These are all 0.3mm balls, I already know what they are. The other thing I find interesting is, if you can't make that sort of profit on your first day of using the software with your repairs, then you probably need to actually fix up your business. And that sort of brings us back to the bottom of the barrel stuff. If you're running down the bottom of the barrel, then it's kind of your own fault, and that's why you can't afford to buy proper equipment, because you undervalue the value of the services you're offering. It is a marketing trick when you've got nothing else and you're trying to get a toehold into the market. Dropping price or discounted price is a technique, but it's not something that you should rely on, or certainly it's something you should drop as soon as you can, because otherwise you'll pretty much never get rich, at least not and also keeping a reputable business that hangs around. Alright, so now we're going to put the alcohol in. And the reason for the alcohol is that it creates a very low viscosity way of spreading these around. What the hell? 0.25. Oh man, it just ruined everything. How the hell did I get 0.25s there? I picked up the wrong damn tub. I was wondering why it looked a little bit weird. That's okay, we'll just wash those away. That was funny. Hey, Mr. Rob Brown. Just after I was saying I knew all the balls that would be around here would be 0.3. Now I've got to mix. Not a big problem. Looks like I've got one stuck underneath there still somewhere. There it is. Let's try that again. This time with the correct size. Oh that's it. That's just way too many there. Oh, it's all good. There's way too many there, but that's okay. It's not going to affect. Yeah, bring in the heat. Definitely got a little excited there. Wasn't keeping track of myself. It's a little bit too much air. Interesting, that's only 30% air. This is 230. This will actually be the first time I'm doing an SMC since I've knocked out the helical spreader in the nozzle. So it's going to be interesting. It may completely fail, but I'm definitely much happier with the helical spreader knocked out of this nozzle. This is a 9mm nozzle, and the helical spreader just sort of, it really wastes the energy. It's about all I can say, is it just wastes the energy coming out of the nozzle, or going into it rather. Okay, so we're getting up to temperature here. The balls are sort of going the matte finish on them. It's kind of where we want them to be, and that lets us know that hopefully, oh that's right, I've got to use it this way. So squeeze out a bit of flux and just, I don't know if that was enough flux, but we'll see. But certainly lower, slower temperatures have superior outcomes in general, it seems, for this process. Yeah, I didn't get enough flux down there. It's a bit of a balance, because if you have too much flux, they pop out. If you don't have enough, they don't sit in properly. So I didn't have enough there. It's okay now for me to put a fair bit of flux on there, because they've all sort of made most of them made contact with the pad, so they're not going to actually pop out. Just that's better. They're getting onto alignment now. And the nice thing is, because it's such a low temperature, you're not really going to damage the part in any great hurry. Yeah, the vortex distribution thingy, I'm not a fan of it. Like I said, I'm much happier since I took it out. Not that I did it intentionally, it just fell out. So I was like, right, I'm not putting you back in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Since there's a bit of an excess here from that spillage event, I'm just going to put it on the bench to do the second fluxing. And the second fluxing lets the balls find their true center, because while they're in that the constraint of the stencil, they can be slightly offset. This one doesn't look too bad. If you're ballsy, you can always not bother with this step. You can just put it straight onto the board and hope that everything just sort of gets its own alignment. But I prefer not to take that risk. Alright, that's good. Hey, how's the moth? Been a while. Whether you use stencil with paste or pre-made, that's entirely your choice. Obviously, you're the one that gets to, do what you want with your repairs. I use, for these SMCs, I use, the balls. For the smaller ones, on things like the 1708 boards and stuff, I use paste. I just find when it gets to this sort of size, where you need 0.3, paste is more drama than it's worth, in my opinion. But yeah, each to their own. Okay, I have a feeling this is going to try and float off. Yeah, some people have a natural knack or talent or sense for their pasting styles, and they prefer to use paste, and that's great. Like I said, I'm only answering because I know I get a lot of people saying, you should try paste, and it's like, yeah, well, I actually started with paste for SMCs, and I converted to using pre-made because it resonated better with me. I can see there's a bridge there between the cap and those two caps on the side. Okay, that's finding its way home. It's taking a little longer because I'm using a much lower temperature. Okay, we're good. Let's see if they're looking okay. They look pretty shiny and even to me. Oh, we got to put the ISL back on. I don't know why, I just turned the extractor off. That was silly. ISL 6259. Got a great big spool of them here. Just going to put some leaded solder down. Yep, 1 PM. Lunchtime. If I took such a thing. Damn it, the center pad took all my solder. Hey, branches. That's good enough. Now, where's that? Oh, yeah, that totally looks fresh and, yeah. Definitely no way that's a extraction from another board. One day, Miles, you will realise that it's one of the few things that Queenslanders do right. Ach, niemand. Like, look, I can't even do an ISL right. It's okay, it'll come back. There you go, see? Good thing Creature's not here, he'd be spewing at the fact that I touched that. Yeah, because I kind of wrecked it there. I'm going to have to fillet in those legs a little bit. Fortunately, because if you just use the hot air, it's pretty easy to do the filleting. If you try to do the filleting while the board is cold, you're going to have a bad time. So we might have a potential, just got to clean that one up there. It just looked a little bit close. Might just whack it with the hot air again. Give it a chance to recenter itself with the new fillets of solder. Okay, there we go. I'm only doing this because I want to verify that there are no bridges, and it's a little bit tricky to do sometimes when there's flux all in the way. It looks almost as good as factory. Alright, let's get ourselves some basic testing here. Now obviously it's not going to be perfect because we've still got to actually make it a 165 SMC, but I want to check that the preliminaries are working. Where's my chipmunk? Come here, chipmunk. Okay. There's no point reassembling the whole thing if the preliminaries aren't working. Yeah, that didn't look good. Oh, there we go. We just want to wait for a green blink. Okay, we've got the green blink, so that's the sign to say that we can put this in, and hopefully we can reflash it without too much drama. Now, because I have been working on this surface, I need to put some paper towel down so as to not sully up the beautiful back of this machine. Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do about the Wi-Fi cable and that. They're just going to have to live with. I could replace it, but that means splitting the screen, and that means I will probably create more issues than I started with, which means I'm not going to do it. That is the responsibility of whoever it was that did that damage in the first place. And I will let them know that they have done that damage. Just going to put a fan in here because I like to check that that's going. I'll just put just a couple of basic screws so that it doesn't all fall out in my face. Okay. No way I can make this the default normal time. It's just quite unrealistic actually for me to be doing board repairs at this time. The only reason I ended up doing this one is because it just arrived. It seemed like it was going to be well, I hope it will be a comparatively straightforward job, and yeah, it's an unusual set of circumstances that have led me to this situation. I don't know how good this battery is. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence, I'll tell you now. Right, I need the SMC flashing tool, which is going to be one of these. What is it, Windows 10 installer? No, definitely not that. I've got it around here somewhere. Worst case scenario, I'll just have to get the new version. There we go. SMC. What is the deal here? It really doesn't like this side for some. There we go. Just have to set the alignment. Okay. Now when we boot, we have to hold the option key, although this would actually just boot into that stick ultimately. But this is a quicker way. Miles, I do have toe tags. Yep, I got them. Just don't always use them. What the hell's going on here? It's probably just spin stopping at whatever, like a 34, 37. Are you 30, 40, 37ing yourself? Maybe it was a bad SMC. Wow, it's not coming up. Oh wait, there it is. Damn it. It keeps dying out for some reason. Yeah, I was about to unplug the battery. I'm kind of curious. Is it that? Yeah, okay, battery out. There we go, SMC tool. Okay. 820-00165.NSH. And that's it. It's done. Housemoth Moroto should have the link. If you look up SMC tool on GitHub, it should be there. Yeah, it's running slow because of the battery. I do wonder if this battery is dodgy as well. Oh, Moroto, that's how a lot of my software projects go. You get 99% done, and then there's that one little niggly thing that you just can't seem to get finished. And then you start wondering, do I just push it out now and deal with that other one later, or what? Hey, Bob Settle, thank you. Alright. Okay, so the fan spin is 1200 RPM, so that's good. It's not going crazy. Now, let's see if anything catastrophically bad goes on when I plug this battery in. Battery is plugged. Oh shit, I can smell something burning. Something definitely burnt then. Or at least I think it did. If I'm lucky, it's in the battery. Or it fried the SMC. Yeah, this battery is no good. I should have known better. Let's try this one. Although we did have the battery plugged in before, so there's hope. Yeah, the wax is polyfuse. I may not be able to hear things very well that are happening around me, like the crackle pop of capacitors dying, but I can certainly smell very well. And I don't mean my personal odor, I mean picking up teeny tiny traces of things burning. Okay, that ran a bit better. We're showing a battery. And the charge current is 3 amps, so we're actually alive. Yep, 63%. It runs without the power connected. Run coconut battery and see what it thinks. Yeah, this is my test battery. So it's moderately old. It was 2018 it was made. It's gone through 650 cycles. But yeah, it does the job for testing. Let's see what Valley has to say. Yeah, I was worried about that battery. The plastic feels wrong, the cells feel wrong, the screw holes are wrong. There's a lot of wrong things about it. It looks from first glances like it should be okay, but it felt very wrong. We're 30-40 frames per second on Valley, so that's pretty damn good. Okay, what is this, a 1.8? Oh, it's a 1.64 gig. Okay, it's running pretty good. Needs to say, it's fixed. So in the end, SMC had a shorted I2C line, which is why it wouldn't show the battery, but everything else could run okay. Kind of curious though that it was running, given that it uses that line to talk to the ISL, and it was still running. So anyway, but yeah, it's fixed. So now I can go have lunch. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Catch you later.